Silver comes up a lot when people talk about inflation, uncertainty, or protecting their money, but most people don't actually understand why silver is even considered an investment or what role that it's supposed to play in a portfolio. By the end of this video, you'll understand what silver actually is as an asset and why some people include it in their portfolio, and just as importantly, what silver is not good for in a portfolio. This isn't about predicting prices, it's just about understanding behavior. My name is Jack, and on this channel, I explain money and investing in a fundamentals first kind of way so that you can make calm and informed decisions instead of emotional ones. So, like I said, this video isn't about whether silver will go up or down, it's about understanding why silver exists as an investment at all. At its core, silver is a physical metal. It's been used for thousands of years as money, a store of value, and a practical material. So, unlike stocks or bonds, silver doesn't represent a business or future profits, it just exists physically. Silver doesn't produce income, it doesn't really grow, it just holds value. And while you could see some growth in the price over time, you're more likely to use silver as an asset to maintain your value. So, here's a couple examples of what silver can be used for in a physical sense. So, we have silver wire down here and a silver tiara here, so jewelry. Back in the day, people used silverware for cutlery, and of course, silver coins people used as currency. So, why does silver actually have value? Well, there's a few main reasons. Number one is scarcity. There's a limited supply of silver that can be and has to be mined. So because of this mining, you have to spend money to mine, so that limits the supply. And the more people buy silver, the more that has to be mined as well. So there's sort of a bottleneck here around mining. So secondly, it's widely recognized and accepted around the world, which creates demand. So we have a supply and demand type market here. And with the demand, that kind of comes in waves. Sometimes you'll see demand for silver be super high, like recently, and then other times the demand will be low and prices are more likely to be lower when the demand is lower. And then, like I said, mining is a super big driver of the actual value of silver. And that also plays into the industrial uses of silver. So silver is used in electronics, solar panels, medical applications, and it's used in factories, plants, etc. for processing and production. The combination of scarcity, its industrial usefulness, and its wide use throughout the world is what gives it its value. The main reason that silver is so valuable in industrial uses is because it has a very good conductivity of very good thermal conductivity. Sorry, I had to get that out. Um, but basically, it transfers heat and electricity really well. So, moving on here. So, why do people own silver as an asset? Number one, it's good for diversification. If you have all your money in stocks, then you're completely affected by what happens to stocks. Or if you have all your money in real estate, whatever happens to real estate, you're going to be completely affected by that. But if you diversify, if you have some stocks and some real estate and you have some silver, then you mitigate a lot of risk and you can hopefully keep your portfolio more moderated with silver. So, leading into that, we get to inflation. So, silver is known as a hedge for inflation, similar to gold. So, what this means is as governments, or in this case, I'll use the US government as an example, the more money that they print, the more your currency, the US dollar, is devalued because there's more of them. But silver is good because there is a very set amount and it's only adjusted by how much we mine, and mining isn't easy or fast, and it's also expensive. So we get to that store of value point here. So by store of value, that means your assets will remain the same valueness over time. Like they'll have the same value over time, whereas a dollar might decrease in value. And the last point here, so sometimes we see that currencies have gotten extremely inflated, and that basically makes a lot of your money or cash not as valuable. And owning silver and gold and other inflation hedges can protect you from the risk of your currency being devalued. All right. So, just to be clear, silver does not equate to growth. While your silver can increase in value over time, the point of having it in a portfolio isn't to get those gains. It is specifically for a hedging asset or to maintain stability. So, what are some of the downsides of silver? So, it can be volatile, meaning the price can go up and the price can go down relatively quickly depending on the market, the demand, and the sentiment. Now, it's kind of self-explanatory, but with silver, you don't have any cash flow. So, like if you own a house, you can rent it out, and then you have whatever the rent payments are coming in from that asset. But with silver, nobody's just giving you more silver for having silver. And the last thing I want to say about the volatility here of silver is that it's in general more volatile than gold. Gold prices tend to be more stable over time. So where does silver fit into your portfolio or just anyone's portfolio in general? So usually a small allocation is recommended for precious metals, being gold, silver, platinum, etc. And this small role is specifically just to balance your portfolio. Think about it as like a shield. It mitigates risk and protects your purchasing power, even though it can play just a small role in your portfolio. And in red here, I put this because it's a pretty good way to look at it. Silver in a portfolio is for stability. It is not an engine. So it's not producing anything. It's just to keep things where they are and maintain value. All right. So what are some common misconceptions with silver? So a lot of people think that it always goes up. And that's because silver has gone up since we started using it thousands of years ago. But that's over the time horizon. If you're looking at it over thousands of years, silver has gone up in value because one, there's more people. We have started using it for more things, and people want it more because people recognize its value. But this isn't true. It does not always go up in price. In the short frame of time, like weeks, months, years, it could go up or down. So another misconception is that instead of investing in stocks, you could just invest in silver. That's usually not something people would recommend because what I mentioned before, silver is for stability, it is not an engine. Stocks are typically what you're going to use as an engine for growth, right? So the primary allocations in your portfolio should not be towards silver in general. And the last misconception here is that it guarantees protection. Like I said, silver is volatile. It can go up and down. You can lose your silver. It can be damaged. Some people even get insurance for their silver. That's just something to keep in mind. So this point here I put is pretty important. It's a good mindset to have. So silver is a tool. It's not a solution to everything. It's not going to replace your stocks. It's not always going to go up, and it's never going to guarantee protection, but it is a good tool to maintain value and hedge against inflation. All right, so now that we've gone over all this and hopefully you learned a few things, what's the action step here? Like, what do you do next? So I would recommend to not go buy silver. The first step would be to understand how different assets behave and how they play into a well-balanced and productive portfolio. Do your research. Find out about different types of silver, what kind of silver to buy, where to buy silver, what's a good price for silver, how much silver should I get, what percentage of my portfolio should be allocated to silver. These are all good questions to ask yourself. And the last little bit I'm going to put in here is good investing isn't about finding one perfect asset. It's about building a balanced system. So this whole portfolio that you should be building over time isn't about just one asset being your like fix all to everything. You need to have a balanced system, and I think that any wise financial advisor would tell you to do the same thing. Nobody really ever got rich just owning one thing over time. All right. So, if this helped you understand silver at a higher level, please consider subscribing, liking the video, turning on notifications. On this channel, I explain money and investing so you can make decisions calmly and not emotionally. I really appreciate your time, and thank you for watching.